spices on it, the cardamom, was all right, but it was just a little bit too much. You know? And so next time I make it, I'm just going to go back to the way the recipe actually says to make it. We're going to go back there. But it reminded me of something. It reminded me that sometimes something can smell awesome. And then when you taste it, it's like, yeah, there's something left to be desired. Flip that around, though, and when we make crock pot stuff, quite often as the crock pot is doing its thing during the day, I work from my office in my house, and so when the crock pot's doing its thing during the day, I get to smell it all day long. And there are a few hours during the crock pot phase where it doesn't necessarily smell so good. You know, it's beginning to do its crock potty kind of thing. And it just, you know, at that point in time, it doesn't smell so good. But by the time it's done, and I eat that stuff, it's my favorite stuff in the world. I love anything cooked in the slow cooker. It's just awesome. And so I'm using that as a metaphor for us today to talk about relationships. For this month, we're going to be talking about fresh air. Things that you can breathe in to give yourself a lift for this next year, to get yourself on the right path for next year. Last week we talked about the breath of just gasping in the wonder that is God. This week we're talking about a breath that is smelling the cooking. I'm using it as a metaphor for relationships. And so just to begin, I'm going to give you the number one law of relational dynamics. So I've got David back there running the slideshow for me, and here it is. For every action, there is an unpredictable reaction. That is the number one law, the first law of relational dynamics. See, the thing with people is that you could do something for someone, and they could like it or not. And you have no idea. You know, I can spend hours trying to craft food for my children, and he could say it tastes like green beans. You know, I could do all kinds of things, but when it reaches the other human being and then bounces back to me, it's completely unpredictable. People aren't like mirrors. They're not like robots. They're not like computers. They like to have sort of, what should I say, their own opinions. And that just means for every action there is an unpredictable reaction. Well, I want to illustrate this morning with a video clip from a movie that some of you are familiar with called The Incredibles. If we get the sound going right, hopefully this will work out. Dave, go ahead and show it for us. Thanks. Is there any way we can turn that up?
Which one are we on? Which one is on? I don't know.
Mr. Santweet didn't ask to be saved. Mr. Santweet didn't want to be saved. And the injury received from Mr. Incredible's actions, so-called, caused him to be paid. I saved your life. Yes, please, I'd like to go like that. That's what the listen.
5 days later, another suit was filed by the victims of the L train accident. Incredible's court losses cost the government millions.
Cool, ready for takeoff.
What the? Who are you supposed to be?
Well, I'm Incredible.
What? No. You're that kid from the fan club. Brody. Buddy.
My name is Incredible.
Look, I've been nice. I've stood for photos. Signed every scrap of paper you pushed at me, but this
No, you don't have to worry about training me. I know all your moves, your crime-fighting style, favorite catchphrases, everything. I can be your #1 fan. Hey, wait!
All I wanted was to help you.
I only wanted to help. And what did you say to me?
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
It tore me apart. But I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone, especially your heroes.
I love you, but if we're gonna make this work, you gotta be more than Mr. Incredible. You know that, don't you?
So long as you both shall live,
I do.
I pronounce this couple husband and wife.
As long as we both shall live, no matter what happens.
Hey, come on. We're superheroes. What could happen?
That's it! You started it. You sit down. You sit down.
See, that's the thing about relationships, okay? You can't predict how it's going to work out. I mean, you save one guy, and he comes back and he sues you. I mean, you ignore one little boy, and he comes back to be your nemesis. You marry one girl, and she brings the children into the family. You know, you can't predict relationships. It's like you can try your best to do the right thing, and yet for some reason, it seems like they continually don't work out the way you expect them to. It's something that might just empower you, might motivate you, might make you wish to just go and become a hermit somewhere. And say, I'm not going to talk to a single person the rest of my life. I'm not going to give myself to any person the rest of my life because it's just too unpredictable. Some people have done that. But you know, the unpredictability of relationships isn't just what makes them difficult. It's what makes them powerful. This morning, I'm going to show you from a few snapshots of the life of David how these unpredictabilities in our relationships can make things so much more powerful, can be used by God in our lives to do something amazing. But before we get there, let me just give you a couple more review points. Quick review. This month, we are moving toward our annual Commitment Sunday. Our Commitment Sunday is the second Sunday of February. That's February 8th. And on that Sunday, we're going to have a time for baptism. We're going to have a time for baby dedications. We're going to have a time where we share communion with each other. And we're also going to be doing something that's very special and unique to this church. We do it once a year. And it's a time where we give you the opportunity to affirm your commitment to this community of people. Now, I know some of you are just getting started with us. You're visiting us. You're not exactly sure if this is going to be the place you're going to be for a while. Some of you are planning to graduate, get jobs, and move on. And hopefully some of you think you're going to move out of Lafayette. And so you might be concerned about that too. But let me just reassure you that over these next few weeks, I want you to deeply explore with us and with God whether or not God would have you make a commitment to this place for as long as you are here. I printed in your bulletin what those commitments look like, and they're also on the back side of your note sheet. In fact, I'll go ahead and allow you to flip over to the back side of the note sheet now, just so I can share them with you. But here are the two commitments. There are two